This video is purely about the love you have for the friend, vice versa, but you just can't find it to be on the same page, even though you try really hard. Don't worry, I got you. Let's talk about friendship breakup today. This is something that happened to me many times in my life, and each single time it would carry a different emotion depending on the feeling I have with a friend. One of my close friends, after hearing the story, of course, after I used the time to process it, so I come to her to share the story with her. It wasn't coming from a point where I was complaining, venting, but more that I was sharing a part of what happened to me. She literally said, "Why are your friendships as complicated as relationships to me?" For her, it was more of the guys that she get involved with. She would process the same emotion that I am processing whenever there is an ending to a friendship. Maybe it's because I grew up without my sibling. Technically, I am the only child, and not having both of my parents around really add on to how I feel whenever it comes to relationship. There was always a part of me that I felt that it was missing every time there's an end to a friendship. Sometimes it could be a lot, sometimes it's very minor and little, especially with me being a people pleaser like before. I can hold in the resentment for so long, and the minute that I decided to walk out from the relationship, I'm pretty much over it. So I thought, with how much that I worked on myself and how I am willing to communicate, to direct the problem to the person, having a discussion about it would help the situation. I'm still healing and I'm still learning from practicing to speak up. It doesn't work with everyone. In today's video, I like to share with you about my breakup of a very close friendship. This person and I, we were on and off for about 3 times now. The last 2 times I didn't speak up of how I feel and I just detached myself. She could feel the same thing, so she started detaching herself, but somehow we are linked back together. This last time I felt that I need to communicate with her about how I feel because I didn't want us to fall into the same track that we did before. And if you watch my channel, you know that I am a big believer of speaking your truth and communicating to the people that you truly care about. But I guess that there are a lot that I need to update within today's video. I will be speaking off my journal a lot because I was writing down 28 things that I've learned after this friendship breakup. It sounds a little bit corny, but I had a calling this morning to make this video, and I have been lagging on making YouTube videos lately. That is why a part of me is feeling uncomfortable. It's feeling like I'm not really living to my fullest truth and following my purpose, because again, I could be drawing myself back into the hamster wheel now that I'm back to working full-time and working on my side projects. So I'm excited to talk to you about today's video. Let's dive really deep into how to deal with friendship breakup. And I am not talking about toxic friendship. That is another video for another day. Hi, my name is Delilah. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we talk about self-improvement, uncomfortable stuff that we want to talk and share about, but it's hard to bring up and discuss with others. This is a safe place for it. Let's dive right in. I don't want to go too detailed into what exactly happened between us because I like to keep it very perspective-wise. She has her own perspective. I have my own perspective. However, it seems like the way we look at friendship and value friendships are very different. I'm not saying she's a bad friend or not a good person. No, that is not what I mean. On the other hand, I believe that she is genuinely a good person, a good friend. But however, the way that I look at friendship, the way that I have an expectation or give and take is definitely different than hers. So when I communicate how I feel, it blew up. it did not go as well as I expected, even though I use all the tips and tricks from previous video that I share with you guys. It just doesn't work because everybody will take things differently. And very importantly, I want you to know that timing is everything. You can't try to communicate how you feel if it's not the right timing. And it could escalate to a lot more problems when you simply think that, well, I'm just sharing how I feel. I'm just being expressive and being true to myself and our friendship. But the other person might look at it as a disaster. Why are you thinking about your feeling versus mine right now? Why are you confronting me? It's a lot deeper than that. First thing you will notice is you will go onto a roller coaster of emotion. This is completely normal and healthy. You will go from, how can you not understanding me? I should have hold back my tongue. I should have not say anything. Now I'm losing the friendship. This is my fault. I'm fucking up. And then you will go from, but if you are a good friend, you would try to understand where I'm coming from, and you would try to have a discussion with me instead of getting mad and cutting me off. Or it could be the other way around. You could be feeling like what my friend is feeling right now. We are so close. Why do you think that bringing up what you said to me at this time is a good thing? How can you not be considerate of my feelings? So there are a lot of thinking back and forth. I want you to journal it down. And it could be the last thing you want to do, because do you really want to sit there and write down your feeling? But believe me, it's much better than calling and venting it to somebody else, especially when you are a storm, a hurricane, a fucking mess. When you're just calling and venting to somebody else, it could come from a very negative and nagging perspective. And it will just make you more angry because you're not really releasing the right way. I'm not saying don't tell anybody at all. Maybe pick one person, share your story, but make sure you process your feeling and emotion first. And then when you express yourself, it will come from a much more fair perspective versus attacking the other person, trying to get somebody to be on your side and to see from your point of view, because you want to feel protected and you want to feel that you are right. So I'm looking at my journal, and literally it's so much back and forth. It was, I'm tired. I will only treasure whoever treasure me. I'm having a very fuck it attitude, but on the other hand, I could totally see that it was coming from love, because it's my time to move on, leave this friendship behind, and wishing her the best. I am at peace, and I don't need to deal with people who refuse to see my perspective. So even when I reread the journal right now, not to judge myself, but it's a lot. It's a lot of emotion going on, and that's why it's very important for you to either record, speak up about how you feel, or record all your emotion down instead of calling and dumping on someone, because you probably will be driving them crazy too. And then after that, I start to write down, I'm going through a lot of emotion right now. At least I recognize it. Let's talk about the lessons that I learned through this hard situation. So lesson number 1, communication is good, but it has to be the right timing, because if you choose the wrong time or the wrong way to communicate, you will be living in guilt, which shouldn't even be there to begin with. So just as much as you can hear what I was saying, there was a lot of guilt and hurt behind my expression. Number 2, not everyone will be open to see your point of view. Prepare for a split up. So I did not imagine this. It was just my belief that if I communicate the right way and come up with my true authentic self, being real, then it would make the other person understand for me. But if you are going to bring up the hard conversation, I want you to get ready for a split up if needed. Number 3, check if this comes from love or your ego. After I spoke to her, we decided that, not even we decided, she got mad at me and we stopped talking. I look back a lot and think to myself, when I bring this subject up and talk to her, Did it come from love, or did it come from a way to satisfy my ego because I needed to know the truth? I needed to feel validated. The more I think about it, it was definitely both. And it took a lot of awareness for me to admit this. If I don't love her, and if I don't express my frustration, I would have just detached myself exactly like the last 2 times. So it was definitely needed for me to bring it up. I still believe that it was the wrong timing. It was after a very big event of her life. From her point of view, it could seem to be selfish that I had to bring it up during this time. Number 4, face to face is the best, so they can see your emotion. Because I communicate with her through the phone, she could not see my reaction, see how genuine I am, and see the emotion in my eyes, and I cannot see how she's feeling to either hold back or continue going. This was probably a big lesson in this, that I feel that if the relationship is important to you, it's much more important that you are meeting up face to face versus through the phone or text, because when you don't see the other person's emotion, it's hard to understand how they feel. It's hard to see the love behind the annoyance, irritation, and agitated. Number 5, give people time even when they react. So her reaction was very unexpected to me, and I wanted to explain myself right away. It's not even about wrong or right, but it's about I didn't mean for this to happen. I was just expressing myself. But really, if you choose to express yourself, you need to learn to give people time. Everybody process things differently. Our emotions are different. Humans are complicated. You can't expect someone to feel the same way you feel or just get you just like that. It would be such an easy matrix. So allow people to have the time they need. If they come back, that would be good, but you don't need to always send the desperate energy to them, as in you want to shake them and tell them, please understand me, please see from my point of view. Number 6 is not everyone will treasure you as much as you treasure them. This was genuinely how I feel after the conversation, but right now, after having more than 10 days to myself and to think back about the situation, maybe the way she treasures me is different than the way I treasure her. Again, it's all come from how we value friendship and how we see things, as in, what is your definition of treasure? So allow the differences between two people or between individuals to speak for itself. Next thing is reflection. Is it really you, or is it really them? This is really tricky, because after the conversation that I had with her, she wrote me a really quick line, and it was really short, but it's very hurtful. And at first it got me doubting myself, because wow, with all that I worked on myself, am I really that negative and sensitive? But I try not to dig into it, and I try to think, is it really how I am, or is she reflecting her energy of what she's feeling on me? So always think about that. Is it really you, or is it really them? Even when you feel a certain way, like I said, I feel like she's not valuing my friendship or look at me the same. Is it really me, or is it really her? It's very tricky, but I am not who you think I am. I am who you think that I think I am. Complicated. Next thing is, everything happened for a reason. What is the lesson you can learn from it? So always look at it as, okay, well, it happened. You can't change the situation. You can't go back. But what is the true deep lesson you learn from this? For me, I can see the biggest lesson I learned from this friendship breakup is you need to pick the right time, and you need to be patient. Don't act on your impulsive behavior, even though you feel like you want to express yourself. Look at the timing. Next thing is, love will allow compassion to stay together. Without strong love and compassion, it can simply just be a beneficial friendship. Okay, so this is deep, because you don't want to continue to put up with someone who is toxic or just constantly complaining and nagging. Yes, I get it. But if you see that they are on a self-improvement journey and they are improving themselves. You cannot expect perfection from someone. And just because they are saying certain thing that doesn't match or feel in line with you at that moment, this is not a reason for you to just drop the friendship and walk away, because you cannot just expect to be there for people during their good time. You have to accept and understand that we are human beings. We are going to have bad time. And the point is, if a person is truly clinging in the image of the bad time and think that they are not doing anything wrong, even though you try to communicate with them and they don't apologize to you, they don't see that they are doing anything wrong, then yes, I get it. This is when you need to remove yourself out of the situation. But if the person is willing to work things out, you can see that within the whole year or even longer than that, there was only one little misunderstanding. No matter how angry you are, is it worth it to walk away from one little mistake? Or just one mistake, because I might think it's little, but she might think that it's a big mistake. Who knows? Compassion. Forgive yourself and forgive others. When you forgive, that doesn't mean you constantly allow the bad behavior to repeat itself. Number 10, no expectation. Don't try to change people's mind or to prove your worth. Very importantly, when this happened, all I wanted to do is just tell her that I'm a good friend, that all that I've done for her, but I tried to hold back, because the last thing you want to do is constantly trying to tell someone about your perspective and your value, trying to make them understand you, especially when they are not in the right state of mind. The last thing a person wants to do is trying to understand your perspective and value or what you bring to the friendship or relationship, because they are angry. So allow them to be. Number 11, sometimes you have to learn to let go. Unfortunately, not everyone is meant to walk with you for the rest of your life, and they are just meant to be there for you during certain chapters as life lesson, as a blessing, or simply just crossing paths. And if you are clinging and attaching to the image of them, to the imagination, the expectation of a friendship or relationship, you will end up hurting yourself. And I know this had a lot to do with deeper issues such as abandonment wound, especially if you have caregiver who wasn't there for you fully or inconsistent. It's really easy to trigger your abandonment wound, and this is why you need to dig deep into why you feel the way you do and why do you feel that you can't let them go and you feel the need to cling on. Number 12, it's not worth it to allow anyone to let you feel like you don't matter, especially when you treat them well. Again, I wrote this when I was very emotional. Like I said, in the other person's perspective, they could be thinking that they are a good friend, that they are treating you well. But in your mind and perspective, you want different thing. You want give and take relationship. So this is just purely perspective. But I do agree that it's not worth it to make yourself feel like you do not matter just because they decide to walk out of your life. No, you matter. Maybe not to them, but to somebody else. Come on, not every cap will fit every pants apart. It would be ridiculous. It's too universal. Not every key will unlock any lock. So you have to understand that even with relationship, they might be the perfect person out there for many other friends, but not for you. Vice versa. You may be so easy to understand and get along with your friends, but maybe not them. Think about that one. 13, if they are committed to misunderstand you, there is nothing you can do. And I'm still standing strong by it. You have to give people time. Time when they are leveling up with their mindset and their life, maybe you will sing together and you can see from the same perspective. That is why I don't cut completely everybody off, where I don't give them a chance to ever come back into my life or say, I'm done with you, get the fuck out. Unless it's a very toxic friendship where they backstabbing me or jealous. But if it's more like misunderstanding or you can't be on the same page, I allow people to go their separate way and grow on their own. Maybe we'll link up in the future. If not, it's completely fine. So allow people to grow on their own pace. Number 14, If you can't express yourself around them or be yourself around them, keep them as a social, elegant level, casual. For me, this is harder because it seems like if I'm keeping you as a casual friendship, I will not go out my way for you. But if I'm going out my way for you, I would like the same reciprocation. And with this friendship that I have, we went through enough tests to know that we are not at the casual level. But if I knew it would lead to this end, I would have held back on offering myself so much and having so much expectation in the friendship, and then we wouldn't be this way. But again, everything is a lesson. I don't regret it. Number 15, not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. I think I talked about this before. Something similar. Sometimes you have to learn to let go. So I'm going to move to the next one. Fix your abandonment wound. If you don't fix this wound, what happens is when people decided to walk out of your life, you will feel so hurt and you will blame yourself so much. And it's not a good feeling to be in. The feeling of feeling that I'm not worthy, I don't deserve love, and it will just keep you in the low vibration. So fix your abandonment wound. And if you don't want to know how to do that, watch my other videos for more. In this channel, we dive really deep that sometimes I think is too heavy for a lot of people, but the right audience will find them useful. Number 17, don't let a bad experience stop you from speaking up, but be better and well prepped the next time. Again, guilt is a low vibration, but guilt isn't bad because it helped me look back at what I've done. I spoke about it in the previous video and I told you guys to write down what you need to talk about, but with this person that I care about, I did not do that. I just kind of prepped it in my head and spoke to her about it on the phone, which is not what I preach about. The biggest lesson for me to learn in here is prep better and speak better. I would not suggest hold your tongue because that is holding the resentment to yourself. That's not leveling up. Number 18, while you are feeling the guilt and suffering, they might not even care. Believe it or not, I don't know how she's feeling. But to think about it, especially if she's on the way to work on herself and leveling up, she probably take it as light as a feather. So she might not just give a fuck about the situation, and I'm over here suffering and putting myself through all these emotions. As much as, of course, we have to process it, but don't sit there and sink into the emotion so much where you lose yourself and you can't focus on what truly matters. Number 19, don't allow low vibration energy to keep you there. Be at peace and live in the present moment. This was the hardest thing because I was out last weekend and I was trying so hard to be in the present moment, but I couldn't. And I realized that because I was coping, obviously. I was trying to get her off my mind by going out and hanging out with other people and being in a public place and trying to keep my mind off it, but it didn't work. These are the times that you just need to be by yourself and you need to process your emotion and feeling. So don't try to cope with or distract yourself with things that doesn't matter, especially when the value of the relationship means so much to you. If you are like me and you take things to heart, you need to have that time to release and let go. And that is also the art of being in the present moment. Not just, okay, I'm going to just try to cope and push you out of my mind so I can just be here and enjoy my drink and this company. Maybe the wrong choice was to be out to begin with. Instead of that, you should be at home and be in the present moment and allow yourself to really feel the pain before you truly can let go. Number 20, everyone is either a blessing or a lesson. Don't take it too serious. You can't make everyone love you. Ouch! But it's very true. You can't make everyone love you. How you feel about a certain someone, that doesn't mean that's how they will feel about you. You need to accept it and take it easy. Take it with a grain of salt. Next one, shift your focus back to your growth. Don't sink into negative energy. So allow yourself to feel, but learn to shift yourself back. Here's another interesting thing. you will go back and forth with the emotion. No matter how much you've been working on yourself, how much you think that you can easily let go, there will be days that you will feel more, and there will be days that you completely feel like you already forgotten about it and move on. Even when those days hit you, allow yourself to feel, but remind yourself to get up every freaking time, because there's really no point of sitting there and whining and just be depressing about something that you cannot change. Next thing, number 22, give people chances and love their flow, as long as they are willing to listen and recognize it. I spoke about this before. Let's say vice versa. If you are in the other person's situation, you feel offended because they are not understanding and they are not considering of your feeling. That might be what she's feeling. Then it's best to give them the time so they can go with their own flow, on their own recovering and recognizing. Don't try to cut them off or be like, get the fuck out of my life, especially if you see that they are trying to change and improve better every day. Number 23, detach when needed. No need to be so harsh. Words can cut other. Ugh. So if you feel like you really need to communicate, but your words might come out harsh, my advice is record it, listen to it, and put yourself in the other person's shoe. How would you feel when you hear your friend speak to you this way? Well, prep before you speak, because you can really cut the other person. Because of what I said, she said something back really painful toward me too. And then I'm like, how can you say that hurtful thing to me? But maybe to her, it wasn't hurtful. To her, it was just expressing her feeling in her own way. And maybe I trigger her abandonment issue too. So it takes two to tango. Number 24, you can love someone and never speak to them again. And that's okay. This is really hard, believe me. And I had plenty of friendship where when I let them go, I still love them from a distance. There was not intense emotion like this last friendship breakup. And you just have to learn to love them, even your enemy. Okay? It may sound ridiculous right now, but you have to just learn to love them from a distance and forgive them. It's not for them, it's for you. Next thing, people can grow together or apart. That doesn't make one better than other. Ooh, this is very mature right here. From this end of friendship, that doesn't make her better than me or me better than her. We are just growing apart and we just have to accept that. Number 26, accept things for what it is and people for who they are. Let them and let yourself move on. So this is another concept that I learned from Mel Robbins. Let them. When they decided to cut you off, let them. When they decided to not include you in their life anymore, let them. And then let yourself continue and live the way you want to live. Let yourself continue to grow how you want to grow, and let yourself move on from the situation, even though it's very painful. Number 27, always forgive yourself. You are a work in progress. I beat myself up because I felt like I spoke at the wrong time, and I felt a little bit petty. Do I really need to bring this up? Could I just swallow it like my past experiences? There are a million emotions popping up in my head. But I came to a conclusion that I am going to forgive myself, because it is a very big lesson and I've learned a lot from it. You can't grow if you don't fail, and regardless of what you do to level up to the next matrix door, you need to fail. And if it takes a friendship, then unfortunately it has to happen. But guess what? When you clear this energy, you will invite better energy, and you will know what to do during the next interaction so you don't repeat the same mistake again. Number 28, beware and look at what triggered the problem. Don't let anything or anyone control your decision making. I spoke to one person before I had a conversation with her, and I kind of allowed the person to push me to speak to her, because the advice I have was, this is for you. You need to speak up for you. I'm not saying this to blame the person, but I need to distinguish if this was my energy or was this really something that she felt, because maybe she's standing from the outsider And that is her perspective. So beware of your trigger. Know that if this really from you, or is this from somebody else, or is it from the energy where I need to validate myself, I need to prove myself, I need to make things clear. Sometimes it's not just about you. It could really burn your eyes. And I was, I'm telling you, crying for a couple of days. I like to ask one last thing in there. Allow whoever wants to leave your life to go, because it is the only way for you to clear the energy and find your true tribe. Again, I'm not saying she's wrong or right, or she's a good or bad person. I'm just saying we could be two perfectly nice and kind person, but we just may not be right together, as in helping building our relationship stronger. If we can't even try to understand from one another's perspective. So if you clear the energy and you allow the person to walk away, you will open door and attract the right energy to come into your life. Life is too short. We don't want to continue to force friendship where it's not meant to be together. And if in the future somehow we are meant to cross path again and we are on the same page, then we can learn from each other again. Because even until now, I feel like she has given me really good and amazing time, and she's an amazing person, and I really genuinely wish her nothing but the best. There's no hate in my heart toward her. If anything, it's too much love. That's why it's a lot of pain when I'm speaking to you in this video. So I did say that I put all these emotions into words and I will process them. The most important thing in life is the ability to keep learning and leveling up. The best revenge, maybe I was still hurt when I used the word revenge, is keeping my vibration high, living a peaceful and truly shine from the inside out. There's nothing more to prove and no one to impress. Do it for me. This too shall pass. I am sending you so much love, encouragement, and healing energy if you are going through the same thing. It's hard to tell a highly sensitive person to not take it to heart. So I'm going to send you a message to take it, feel it, allow it, and let it go. One step at a time, one day at a time, and you will be able to shine again. It may seem like it's the end of the world, because friendship breakup to me is as painful as a relationship breakup, maybe even more if I compare her to some of the men in the past that I've been with. So take all the time that you need, and I am here for you. This is a safe place. So leave your comment in the comment section. If you find value in what I share, don't forget to support my channel. Until the next time, love you. Bye bye. We got this.